I don't know, our students are very keen on, watching the lifestyle blogs of different bloggers and influencers, because they just get the chance to come very close to someone. They don't have this very intimate experience in their everyday lives, because people getting more and more close from each other. And on the YouTube, you can just sneak to someone else's bedroom and see what kind of life they are living. And you got this feeling of belonging, feeling of closeness, feeling of disclosure of someone else, someone's sharing their life. This is amazing. We're just looking for intimacy, actually, I think, and social media bring us this sort of intimacy.
So you are giving me a hint. If a person search a consensus even on a dating platform, it can be similar when you are accepted in a group on Facebook, for example, discussion about politics, and you are trying to share the same opinion, and you see that your opinion is shared by other thousands of people. So you get the same pleasure than on the dating platform.
Geez, Vincent, that's a very good thing. It's also about pleasures and pain. So you come to the group where you feel yourself belonging, devoted to some political issues to really want to be part of. But at the same time, there is another thing that you can become the part of what we call groupthink. This is a very bad, story for a person, because as long as you have the shared identity with someone and you feel yourself belonging to this group can, initiate the process of development of some controversial values. And this is when we come to the topic of the manipulation. So you have the good, well-built group, the community, and they probably would tend to stick together. So several people provoking some sort of the discussion might, change the tone of the discussion and might influence the values of people. And manipulation on social media is a very big thing. I mean, you probably
but even the social network in this, and Facebook is playing the key role in this, give you the possibility to say your own opinion, to shout technically, and to release your internal aggression, pain. Because what you say in terms of manipulation, somebody start the conversation, but we know that now this is technology. I mean, there are robots that are following a speech and producing random comments that feed the cycle of the aggression and the manipulation.
Yeah, I know. So it's like two things brought up here. The first one is about sharing your opinion. You know that not that many actually post something. Most of us, like 80% of the users of social network platforms, they're just lurks. So they're coming there to watch others. They do not produce the content. There are several content creators. Well, not several, of course. There are thousands of them, but according to the ratio of these, the content producers and those who just consume the content, the ratio is very significant, and there are just, very little amount of those people who produce. So basically, this is another form of media. The traditional kind of media where we still have editors, we have, opinion leaders, we have influencers now. And it kind of replicates on a different scale. So the access is a little bit different. And you might add your comment there. So you have the opportunity to engage, but you don't really engage. I did a little bit of the research on YouTube. And I thought that my students who are such a heavy users of the YouTube, they're gonna be very active there. But no, but I figure out that they are watching YouTube like it would be porn. So they just consuming the content and they try not to leave any digital footprint there. They're not interacting. They rarely leaving likes or dislikes. Dislikes they leave absolutely rarely. So they try not to, because they would feel that this would be impolite. I don't know, is it a part of the culture? Because regularly you go on YouTube and you see millions of comments, especially under the popular videos. But I didn't get the answer why. They do discuss it in their close circles of friends. So it means that YouTube becomes just the source of the information rather than the interactive platform they interact. So we have this opportunity, we do not use it. The thing about bots and about the manipulation, this is a scary thing. This is something which actually frightens me a lot, but it's a part of the market. Right?
For me, it's funny because not so long ago, my mom appeared on Facebook. She started to follow some group, even political. When I call her in Italy, she started to question me because she knows that I'm expert about these themes that I'm following and so on. And okay, for me it's terrible to discuss these things with my mom because she has not the understanding of how, for example, robots can push a comment on the right time using keywords and so on. So every time I lose 20 years of my life to explain these things. But for me it's interesting because I see the approach that a woman that never used the social network appeared like a few months ago to follow me and my sister, to understand what, especially to follow me because I'm living abroad and she wanted to see like what I'm doing and so on. But I see that there is a generational gap, first of all, in the understanding how to use, what to use. And I tell you another thing, I'm a passive user of Facebook.
Yeah, but you know,
I don't create content. I don't upload any content since I understood that first of all there is an algorithm that you have to feed, and you have to create, I don't know, at least more than 3-4 contents a day to reach an audience. Because when you say like, you have only 10 likes, yes, because maybe the algorithm decided to show to only to these 10 guys that are friends, let me say, no? Another thing is that following this trend of political groups and so on, I feel that people is finding, I don't know, how to exactly explain to people that is listening to us, that is not into like politics, more than a voice. They're finding more than a voice in...
what they're looking for there?
I don't know what they're looking for. Now is the trend that everybody should have the access to social network. Even the babushka on dacha has like the connection on internet now, no?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's good. But what for is the question.
To get the information needed for like, I don't know, to pass the time?
It's good. Then I see another trend that why we are producing a lot of content for who?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I was just thinking about it over the past, I don't know, months. As everyone around me became some sort of the influencer, it's somehow. So they are either having very active life on Facebook, very active social media life, just sharing, posting content, reposting, and myself, I've just been surrounded by various type of the content producers, and probably this is going to influence the market. It's either going to explode or it's just going to change, because now we have to consume not just the traditional media we used to trust in the opinion of those people who are professional journalists. We also have all those people who becoming like, I don't know, partisanian journalists, and they are your friends. So we are living in the age of extreme information overload, and it needs to be stopped somehow. The question is what direction is going to be taken. Many business issues, business magazines, and different media outlets, they're following the trend, and they kind of adapting their content to the social media, and they becoming just another person kind of on social media. But is it good in general for our media system, this sort of absolute decentralization? What do you think? I don't know.
I think that so I produce a lot of content on Instagram. Why? I produce content about sports. I don't put my private life. I put content about
everybody's going to be interested.
My work, And about podcast. I mean, my general interest, but not private life. And I've noticed that since I stopped to put content and products about my private life, the level of attention on my Instagram partially dropped. So I have to search other content, other consumers of my content. But sometimes I ask to myself, why I have to produce 7 stories a day and 1 post a day? Sometimes I'm afraid of myself. But then I say, okay, the use that I do of Instagram is just to spread knowledge. For example, this podcast, as a promotion on Instagram. So we give something more to our students, for example. My main audience are my students.
Yeah.
So I want to give them something more that during the classes I can give. But sometimes I'm afraid that I may be misinterpreted. So this is my concern. And
But Instagram is I'm sorry to interrupt you here. Instagram is a very interesting platform because it's used in so many different ways, and different users find their own strategies to maintain their content, to create their content, to upload their content, and it's fascinating. But what I first realized about Instagram, it's like Instagram, right? So it's all about you. And anyway, Instagram is the most personified and with all this opportunity to, and it's mostly visual. So it's a lot about the person who's running this thing. So sometimes when you get the grander, the greater audience, I don't know, which is kind of becoming more than your closest friends and your parents, you start thinking about the content, and what you're discussing is this strategy. And that was my biggest concern, how users do adopt their own strategy and preferences of usage, the Instagram and the stuff which they upload, comparing to the efficiency of their content. So for sure, when you upload the picture of yourself or a selfie, you're gonna receive more likes than for this podcast.
Yeah, I noticed that. That, and I made even an experiment. And when I put content, I put a post few days ago about the feeling that I had thinking about that in less than about 20 days is 2020. And I was reflecting on the idea, what I was thinking 20 years ago about the 2020. And I put few posts, and I said what was my imagination, the imagination of my friends or the people around me, and what is the realities. So, but this content is too complex for Instagram to be absorbed or to be audience. Yes, it's too complex to be consumed. Then post, for example, today that I'm using the winter shoes for my triathlon training, and I noticed that was consumed more than something more interesting, complicated, but less digestible for the audience.
See, each platform has its own special features and affordances, which gonna kind of force you to post what is likable. And my question was that, is the person changing him or herself while presenting him or herself on the social media because of the demands of the audience?
I think yes.
Do we adapt ourselves? But don't we changing? Don't we losing ourselves trying to catch up with likes?
Yes, I think yes.
It's
Don't you feel that you are losing part of your personality when you post something?
Yeah, I'm feeling that I'm losing a part of my personality when I'm not that active, and I do not on Instagram, because I have not been traveling for a while, and I have a lot of work, and I don't really have anything special to share. I mean, I have nothing special to share because my whole life just reduced to work because it's December. And I don't feel this support of the strangers I don't even know sometimes in person who follow my account and would give me likes. And this is crazy. So, I mean, we are quite complex and sophisticated creatures, and we can cognitively understand, this should not be linked, but this